Look at this line. Static, void, main. Let's understand these three words. The word static means there can only be one copy of this method running at any given time in a class. What does that mean? Remember this chair example I gave you earlier today? That once I create a chair template, I can then start creating chairs, so I can have a red chair and a green chair and a white chair and a black chair. But if anything is static, it will not going to change its version by chair. It will stay the same for all the chairs. So if you want to create a method called change color of the chair, that method should not be static, because otherwise all chairs be of the same color. So if you want something to work per object, that has to be non-static. If you want something to be the same across the board for all the objects, it has to be static. What does the word void mean? Now let's go back to the VB world. In VB world, do you remember these two words, sub and function? Back in the VB world, sub means it's a module which will not return a value back. Function means it's a module that will return a value back. In Java, in C#, we don't do that distinction. In C#, sub equals to a method with void return type, and function, what was function in VB in C# is equals to any other data type other than void. Any data type other than void means it's a function. It means it will return something back.
But this will just give me an output.
So you do not have those specialized words like sub and function at the beginning to tell that it is a sub procedure or if it's a function.
If it's not a sub procedure, it must automatically be a function in C#.
No, you have to use. If you have used a data type other than void, function is implied. If you use the word void, sub procedure is implied. So main being void is a non-value returning function. Okay. Do you remember the square brackets? Why we use square brackets? You remember that? Arrays. Okay. Now, we have an array, args, of type string, which main can receive as a parameter. So we have parameters like we have in any other programming language, and this is the name of the method. The reason I'm explaining all of this to you because now I want to create a method outside of the main for display purpose. I want to create a string in the main, and I'm going to give the display logic to that guy. So anytime I need to display something, I'll call that guy, he will display it for me, and that's it. So outside of the main, static, void, okay, it's non-value returning, display, take a parameter of type string. So that's my module that I'm creating. Console.writeLine message. Display the message. Okay. Next, what we will going to do is, instead of having console.writeLine right here, we will simply pass this as a message to display, because anything that you concatenate automatically turns into a string. So all we are doing is we're passing this string over to display, which will take care of the display logic. And the output will going to be exactly the same. So main is formatting a string, and once it formats the string, it just passes that string over to display, which will take care of the display logic. We are making a call to display instead of console.writeLine. We're making a call to display, and this whole thing, which is a concatenated stuff, this is of type string, because anytime you concatenate a string with a non-string, it always becomes a string. So we have this one long string that is being passed as a parameter to MSG. And then we are simply displaying MSG. Okay. Now again, as I told you earlier that I'm jumping through a lot of stuff here, I will now jump to the concept of arrays. You remember arrays? Okay. Now this is how we do arrays in C#. Integer, square brackets, followed by the name of the array. So let's say if I create this array called C# versions array equals to, and I can simply list the values like 1.0, sorry, I should say double, not integer, double, 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, and 7.0. To display the value of an array, console.writeLine version and as usual the first element is index location 0. Again, we'll take this example and we're going to move forward and we'll loop through this. So version 1. Again, we can use the same logic as we used before to format it. And then the output comes out like that, version 1.0.